All right, it's Q&A part 3. Before we get started, don't forget I have a Patreon account, so if you want to support this channel in even more ways and get some extra perks, be sure to check it out at patreon.com/idreamofjohnny. And also, don't forget to shop at my doll shop at johnnysdollshop.com. All right, on to the big juicy questions. Did you collect anything before American Girl? Oh yeah, I've been a collector my entire life. I think a lot of us are just, we have collector brains, so you just kind of have that, I don't know, I feel like it's almost a primitive instinct that we have to like collect things and complete things. So, I feel like you're either a collector or you're not, and I've definitely been that way my whole life. I can remember collecting things as early as like Pogs. I feel like you'd have to be at least 30 to even know what that is. Those little round cardboard things that were basically a game, but I don't think I ever played with them because I was scared of screwing them up. So I just put them in a little book, like in a binder. And it was sort of like collecting stickers in a way. And actually, I think I collected stickers like in the late 80s. What else? I collected Tamagotchis. I loved Tamagotchis. Beanie Babies. Actually, I was really into Beanie Babies, like way past the age that most kids were into them. I think I was in like, God, I swear I was in like 6th grade or something when and I was still collecting Beanie Babies, and I got like bullied so bad for that. And the only other thing I can think of that I've collected are designer vinyl toys, and that's actually the genre of toy design that I was in when I did that, basically between the years of like 2005 and 2013. Without getting into like the whole genre of everything, is basically like I would say it's like the predecessor to what Funko Pops are now, but it was a lot more underground and hip than that. I mean, that's not to like dunk on Funko Pops. I don't know much about them, but yeah, it was basically designers that would make small batch like vinyl toys and sometimes in resin. And I did a lot of stuff in resin, but all that's to say, yeah, I collected as well as made designer vinyl toys. Do you currently collect anything other than American Girl dolls? Right now, no. I started a Barbie collection, but I don't feel like a Barbie collector yet because I don't have enough. And truth be told, I started to buy some things, but what I've found is that it's almost impossible to find a good deal on Barbie because it's so obvious what everything is. It's all in boxes and there aren't like random variations that somebody might not understand why it's valuable. So it's very easy to figure out what the value of a Barbie is worth at face value. So like that being said, it's so hard to find a good deal on them, and I don't go to like thrift stores and estate sales and stuff. So I just haven't found good deals on the things that I want. So I've kind of put a pause on the Barbie collecting because I like vintage stuff more so than new stuff. So yeah, I've just kind of put a halt on the Barbie collecting maybe until after I move. And, it's allowed me to kind of really focus on my American Girl collection and get it like really, really dialed in. And I'm obviously very proud of it. And it's partly because I've stayed so focused on American Girl and Pleasant Company that I've been able to build such a like vast, but also specific collection. That said, one of the other things that I really want to collect are 80s, like late 80s and early 90s Playline toys. Things like the Little Miss line, like Little Miss Magic Makeup, is it? Little Miss Singing Mermaid. If you're my age, you probably know what those dolls are because they were everywhere and I really wanted them and never got one. So I definitely want to collect a lot of those things. And they're actually, I don't think that hard to find in decent shape. So it's not as much of a challenge to collect that. So I'm kind of waiting until after I move to start like basically taking this and tripling it in size, which is kind of scary to think about. But so yeah, like Little Miss Magic Line. I actually want to start a Polly Pocket collection because I actually had a couple of those as a kid. And I would like to maybe go back and collect like maybe the first year or two of like Polly Pocket and basically any toys that were maybe marketed towards girls in the late 80s and 90s, which were the toys that I wanted and wasn't allowed to have. I think it would be fun to kind of go back and close that chapter and have a really nice doll collection and basically display it almost museum like. I think that'd be really fun. So hopefully maybe in the next year or so I'll be able to start tapping into that. But yeah, like I said, for now it's basically Pleasant Company and American Girl stuff that I really want. But yeah, that said, as I get other dolls, things like Barbie and Little Miss Magic Makeup and Polly Pocket, all those things, I do want to start incorporating them into this channel and doing some more research and learning about the history and production of the toys and share some like all the information that I found. So as I start getting them, you will start seeing them. But for now, like I said, it's just American Girl for the time being. How frequently do you change your display? So for the first couple of years, I really would kind of change up how everything was situated on the shelves. At first, I had like a really, a display like you had when you first started. It was just an old dresser that I had, and I had like, I don't know, I probably had 10 dolls in the first like couple of months and kind of had them displayed. Then I got a trunk and then added that, and then it outgrew. So for like a good like year and a half, I was just expanding the actual physicality of the display, being more shelves and just adding things to it. So it just naturally was developing over time. But I have to say, over the last, maybe this year, like the last 5 months, it hasn't changed a whole lot, because I have managed to get most of what I had as my original goal for my collection. I have pretty much everything from the 80s for Pleasant Company and the early 90s as well. So the display isn't changing as much lately, with the exception of me going in and changing the dolls seasonally, which is always fun to do. And I typically will try and add it to this channel, like as I'm taking the dolls, like for instance, out of their winter outfits that they're still in, even though it's almost May. So one of the next videos I'll make is changing my dolls out of the winter outfits and putting them probably in their birthday outfits. So that's one of the fun things to do with a display, to kind of keep it fresh, even though it kind of looks the same, as I'll change their outfits out from time to time. That's really fun. How far along are your Addie and Felicity collections? They're coming along. Like I said a million times, I try and only buy things when I find them for a good deal. So I typically don't like going and paying eBay prices for things, especially because sometimes I might find something that's either an earlier version or a more mint condition version, one that might be in its packaging. And I want to be able to sell the one that I have so I can upgrade it. So I've just kind of been holding out for good deals on Felicity and Addie. And for the most part, I haven't bought many of their accessories. I have their like mini dolls, like Ida Bean and Felicity's fashion doll. And then I'm looking here. I don't have a ton of accessories for them yet, which I plan to complete their collections like up through like 1993, probably, maybe a little bit later, we'll see. But as far as accessories, not a whole lot yet. But the outfits, I'm getting really close to completing my original goal, which was basically having every outfit and item from their Pleasant Company collections up through like 1994. And I have pretty much everything from that now. There's like the odd thing, like I don't have a good version of Addie's school dress, which I'm still looking for, again, looking for a good deal. I had one, but it showed up and it had a bunch of holes in it. I was not happy about that. And I think Felicity, I'm missing Felicity's school outfit too. I guess I have some real uneducated dolls up in here, but other than that, yeah, there's just a couple of pieces I'm looking for as far as outfits go. And then I need their trunks as well. I need Addie's trunk and Felicity's trunk, but I'm gonna wait till after I move because they're so big and heavy. I really don't want to move them cross country. Did American Girl or Pleasant Company make Molly's glasses in gold? Yes and no. They never made glasses specifically for Molly in gold, but they did take the glasses that they used for her and made a gold version of them that they sold as an additional accessory that you could buy, so it would come in the red felt case. And I don't know exactly what year they did that, because they might have been selling them as just replacements for Molly, but I think that they ultimately made the gold ones as an accessory for the Girl of Today line. So if you bought one of the numbered dolls, like one of the first 20, you would have the option of buying glasses for her in either silver or gold. So you can find authentic Pleasant Company glasses in gold, but if they're gold, they were never for Molly. Molly's glasses were always silver. How do you store everything? So I would say the vast majority of it is just on shelves right behind me. I have IKEA Billy bookcases in the color black brown, and I have 3 of them, and they are chock full of 80s and early 90s Pleasant Company items. So that would be where most of it is. And then I've got my clothes, like the additional outfits I have for them are actually just hanging on tension rods between the end of the last bookshelf and the wall. And it's not particularly pretty. It's not how I want to do it ultimately. I plan in the next house to actually get a full bookcase with doors on it and just fill it up with clothes racks to put all my clothes in, like to hang everything so it stays unwrinkled. But for now, it's just kind of, in the corner over there. It does not look nice. And then I have a random like Our Generation wardrobe, which, it's just got some stuff in it. And then the rest of it that's not on display is actually in boxes in my closet, because I'm not really a clothes person. I wear pretty much the same thing every day with the addition of like maybe a different top that goes over my undershirt. So I don't have a lot of clothes. So I've taken a lot of space in my closet that's like filled with very organized boxes. So things that I have that are like new in packaging that I don't really have a display, like a spot to display them on yet. Those are in like larger boxes on shelves, and it's all neatly tucked away, but yeah, a lot of it's in my closet. What is your dream doll? I'm gonna assume this person wanted to know what my dream American Girl doll was, but my non-American Girl dream doll is actually a 1988 Superstar Barbie. And then my dream doll, as far as American Girl goes, is I would like signed and numbered Molly, Samantha, and Kirsten from 1986, and I want their numbers in the single digits, which that's going to be probably one of my hardest tasks to date because, I mean, again, there's like less than 30 of them, so, or fewer than 30 of them. So it's going to be nearly impossible to do, but that's really the thing that I kind of have my eye out for. And as I'm like selling things and saving up for more items in my collection, I kind of have it in the back of my mind that I might need to drop a huge amount of money on one of those dolls because at some point, in the future, I might decide I want to reduce my collection down to basically like the bare minimum and maybe only have like 1 or 2 dolls of each kind. And I would really love to have one that is just like the lowest possible number that's signed and numbered and dated by Pleasant Rowland, and have that be like my one and only doll. Like for Samantha, if I were to only keep one, it would be that one. Current Holy Grail item. Well, I've honestly gotten most of my holy grails at this point, obviously with the exception of the dolls I just mentioned. There's, been some things that were really hard for me to find, such as like Samantha's first edition gingerbread house, like the edible one from 1986. That I thought was going to be the thing that I would never find, and I actually eventually found it. And I also have Molly's first edition nurse, which is another incredibly hard piece to find in Pleasant Company. They never, ever show up, and I have one of those. And I actually got the complete set with a snow globe and everything. So maybe a couple of things that are maybe not quite as exciting as that, but I'm on high alert for, is I'm looking for Molly and Samantha's underwear sets from 1988. And they don't really look any different than the later versions, but my goal is to have everything with the first year tags on it. And mine are both from 1989. So I have the second year versions of them, but I'm looking for like mint complete versions from 1988. I'll eventually find those. That's not like a humongous deal. I've seen them a few times, but they just sell like for so much money if somebody lists them with like a buy it now on eBay. So I'm just kind of holding out to see if I can find one for a better deal. Oh, and another thing I'm kind of looking forward to is the Our New Baby overall set. It's like the red overalls with the like blue and red striped shirt. That's something, again, there's one on Mercari right now, but I don't want to pay like $200 for it. And as far as accessories go, I'm actually looking for a first edition trunk for Kirsten. That's probably my biggest holy grail item right now, I'd have to say, is I would love one from the first year, a 1986 trunk. And they look a little bit different than the rest of them. And that would nearly complete my 1986 collection. So that's probably, if I had to say a current holy grail item, yeah, I guess it's probably Kirsten's trunk from 1986. Are you going to get Josefina? I don't know. I've been thinking about it. Would you ever consider getting into the 2000s era of American Girl? I actually have a couple of things, like the red vinyl jumper outfit and the, what's it called? I think it's called Perfectly Plaid, the one with the green sweater and the plaid skirt like that. It looks really 90s to me actually, but I think it was a 2000s outfit. I might collect a thing here or there, but I've honestly kind of toned down the Girl of Today line and I forget what it was called at the time. I can't remember when they changed it to Just Like You. But as far as that range goes with the numbered dolls and everything, I've kind of toned that down. I've sold a lot of the stuff that I had. I think at the beginning of the year, I was thinking I was going to get like one of like all of the first 20 of them, but I kind of abandoned that idea. And people keep asking me if I'm going to sell my number 5. I actually think I am, because I only have her in number 4, and I just like number 4 a whole lot more because she looks so different to the rest of them, and she looks like super cute and happy. So I don't think I'm going to sell my number 4. So I might keep a few outfits for her at least, and then maybe at some point I'll buy some more. But I've kind of like lost a little bit of my excitement for the Girl of Today line just because it's so vast, and I really like being able to complete things, and it's just like going to be impossible to complete a Girl of Today line. So yeah, I've kind of pulled back on that. So as far as like 2000 stuff, yeah, here or there might be something I think is really cool that I might buy, but as far as like doing a deep dive into it, as chances are I'm not going to. But yeah, doll wise, I mean, obviously I just bought a first edition kit, so I guess as far as dolls go, I kind of still want to collect one of every one of the historical dolls, so that would mean getting things from that era as well. I'm just going slow with it, waiting till I can find a good deal on them, as always. So yeah, there will be some things, but I'm not going to go really like heavy on the 2000s era stuff. If you could get one item for Addie's collection that you do not own, what would it be? I actually wrote the answers to these like a couple of weeks ago, and it says trunk or Cape Island dress. So I guess for now the answer to that is her trunk, because I just got her Cape Island dress and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It is so beautiful. What is the item that you would like American Girl to recreate and bring back from Kirsten's old 1986 to 1990 collection? I'd have to say probably her St. Lucia set because to me that is like the most iconic spread from her catalog. And I kind of would like for them to do an update to it. It would be really cool if they could make that crown light up instead of just being like painted tips on the candles. It'd be so cool if there was like a little switch in it and it would actually light up. How cool would that look next to the Christmas tree? And what would be a new item you would like to see in Kirsten's collection if American Girl brings her back into stores? So I can't think of anything like super specific because, as I've stated before, I'm not a history buff. I'm actually not that into history or historical fashion. I'm more into toys. But I have to say, if anything, I would love for them to just, add a new concept because they've been re-releasing dolls like Molly and Kit, and they are adding, like, they're not adding anything new to the collection. It's just re-releases of all the original stuff, and I think it would make so many of us that have all of this stuff already really happy to actually be able to continue our collection. So I'm not really like that picky with what it is. I just would love to see some new outfits and ideally like higher quality things that, I think American Girl has a lot of stuff coming out where they use like really thin fabrics that are kind of see-through. I just really miss the days of being able to buy I say this like I like used to own dolls as a kid. I just mean from collecting vintage stuff, I see the quality of the items from the 80s and 90s and how thick the fabrics were, and they were like just as high quality as really good quality human clothes. And I just would love for them to make some new concepts, especially outfits for Kirsten's collection that just feel like collectible pieces. That's what I would really want. Are you ever going to get any best friend dolls like Nellie or Emily? I actually had Nellie at one point, and I just, I sold her because I just, I rotate things out all the time, and sometimes I sell things that I like just because I'm trying to make room for something new that I've got my eye on to buy. And I kind of miss having Nellie, so I am thinking about buying her again. I personally don't like the Emily doll. Just, I don't know. Some dolls I just don't like, and she's one that I don't really care for. But I might end up getting her at some point anyway, just to feel like my Molly collection is complete. But truth be told, I feel like it's kind of annoying that they don't have best friends for Addie and Kirsten because it kind of makes my collection feel a little bit off balance to have best friend dolls for just some of the main characters that I have, but not others. So we'll see if I really get into it. But if I get any of the best friends, it'll be Nellie. Favorite year of American Girl merch? That would be 1986. That's mainly because I was really into these dolls, I would say around like 1990 to 1993 as a child. So those are the ones that are most nostalgic to me, and I collect for nostalgic reasons. So most of the stuff that was available, especially for Molly, Samantha, and Kirsten, was released in 1986. They only added a few new outfits over the years in those first years. So like the school Christmas, the meet outfits, those were really like the main bits of the collection. And it's just my favorite year because they're the most nostalgic to me, and I just remember looking through the catalogs and dreaming about having that stuff one day. So that's definitely my favorite year. Least and most favorite American Girl line, for example, historicals, Girl of the Year, Welly Wisher, Biddy Baby, Hopscotch Hill, Biddy Bear, etc. I'm going to say my least favorite is Hopscotch Hill, and I don't want this to be like a huge dunk on Hopscotch Hill because I actually like really weird dolls, and I also love when companies take a chance and try something kind of in left field. I always love that. So, I have to say I don't really hate those dolls or anything, but they're just probably my least favorite because they don't make a ton of sense with their other dolls, but good for them for trying something new. And my favorite is obviously going to be the historical because like 98% of what I own is historical, and it's just my favorite. It's the most nostalgic. When I was into dolls as a kid, American Girl, which was obviously called Pleasant Company at the time, didn't have anything modern. It was the entire line other than Our New Baby was historical. So like I said, that's the most nostalgic to me, and it's always going to be my favorite. Do you like Girl of the Year? Yes, I like looking at Girl of the Year. I love when all the new gossip is coming about, like what she's going to be, and even like to the point of like kind of fantasizing about getting one and being like, oh, should I get one? But I probably will never buy a Girl of the Year just because my collection is so vast already. There's just so much Pleasant Company stuff to collect. And I think Girl of the Year just makes it like way too many dolls. I think I would rather collect other doll lines, like other play lines from the 80s and maybe even some like ball jointed dolls and stuff like that. Probably before I would get into doing the Girl of the Year because I have plenty of American Girl dolls. Do you like Kit? Yeah, I would say I like Kit. Do I love Kit? She's not my favorite doll. I knew that getting into it, and I'm glad I finally got one because I got a first edition and I want her in my collection and I wanted to get the best one possible. But I have to say, of all the historical, she's probably my least favorite of all the dolls released like before like the year 2000. But yeah, like I said, there's not like dolls that I hate. Like I'm not somebody that's like super critical of brands and the things they make, you know, unless they do something like unethical. But yeah, there's no American Girl doll that I just like absolutely hate. Kit just happens to be one of the ones that I don't like as much as others. Would you collect transitional era or Mattel era American Girl dolls? I think the short answer to that is yes, because like I said, I'm thinking about maybe getting one of all of the historical dolls, and that would mean getting into that era. But again, as far as getting anything that isn't historical, probably not, maybe with the exception of getting a Girl of Today or Truly Me number 18, like the second version with like the short choppy bangs, because she's actually my favorite one of all of them. And I actually had her at one point and I sold her and that was dumb. But if I get any dolls from that era, it will be her. But for the most part, I don't plan on getting a lot of stuff from that era. Although I have to say, I guess transitional era is technically Kit. And if I didn't say before, even though Kit is not like my favorite doll, I really do love her collection. I think they did an amazing job with all of the designs and the quality of her collection. I think they really went all out for her, especially like with the movie and everything. So if I were to get, I guess, anything else other than number 18, I could see getting some more outfits for Kit, especially because her meat outfit is cute and I like it, but I kind of want to get something like her chicken keeping outfit or something like a little bit different. So I might get a couple outfits from that as well. Favorite post Pleasant Company historical? I think it's actually going to be Nikki and Isabel Hoffman. I think because I love the excitement of actually being able to get a doll that was a brand new release from American Girl and basically being one of the first people to get them. That was really exciting for me. So I'm going to say it's probably going to be them, especially because they are close in age to me, even though like the characters are a little bit younger than I am, but they're the closest ones as far as the historical line goes. And, you know, if there was maybe going to be a close second to that, it might be Courtney because I grew up in the late 80s as well, so I remember a lot of that aesthetic, but I don't know completely yet because I just bought Courtney a few days ago. She's actually in the mail. I ordered her directly from American Girl because I had so many points racked up. So I got a really great price on her, and she's on the way, and we will find out in a few days if I like her. Which American Girl books have you read? So I've read all the books from basically everything that they published up through 1993. So that means I've read the first 6 books of the first 5 dolls. So Molly, Samantha, Kirsten, Felicity, and Addie, I've read all 6 of their first books. And as I've said before, I haven't read any books as an adult. So it's been since, I probably haven't read a Pleasant Company book since like 1993. So I will read them eventually, but as of now, I haven't read anything other than that. What is your favorite catalog spread for each of the first 5 historicals? I'm glad you asked because those are my 5 favorite dolls. So Samantha is going to be her birthday spread, which, you know, like who can forget the double spread where it had the doll and that crazy cool like wicker table and chairs and all of like the glassware and the ice cream, and it just was such a cool spread. They packed so much stuff into that, and it was such an awesome day when I finally got the last piece for that collection. Well, actually I don't even have the pram yet, but I have everything but the pram, and I was able to put it all together and like set the table up, and it was even prettier in person than it is in the catalog. So I really love that spread. For Molly, I'm probably going to say the Christmas one because I feel like that's the one I just remember. It was probably like 1991, and I just remember thinking like maybe this year I'm gonna get Molly for Christmas, and it's kind of sad because I didn't, but I just remember those warm feelings of sitting and, you know, the house I grew up in, sitting by the Christmas tree, flipping through the catalog, and I just remember thinking of how great it would be if I could have been sitting there with Molly in that green velvet Christmas dress. So that's a very nostalgic spread for me. So I'd have to say that's my favorite for Molly. And likewise with Kirsten, the same thing. I loved her Christmas spread because I think that St. Lucia spread is probably the most iconic thing out of her entire collection, and just the way it was styled in the catalog and everything. Yeah, I love that. I'm so glad I finally have that. For Felicity, I'm gonna say her treasures and collections page where it showed her wardrobe and that like canopy bed. Like that was so insane that they did all of that. I mean, talk about like attention to detail. I absolutely love that. And I don't have any of it, which is something I'm really looking forward to getting when I move and can kind of spread out and get some more things. But that canopy bed is so amazing. And the armoire, that like Queen Anne style furniture was really, really big in the 80s and 90s. And we had a lot of it in our house. So it is very nostalgic to me to think about getting like miniature versions of that. So I'm really excited to get that. And it just looks so beautiful in the catalog. And as far as Addie, I'm going to say the Meet Addie spread, because I remember getting the catalog in the mail when they announced that they had a new historical doll, and it was Addie. And I just remember opening that first spread, and you open the catalog and then you like rotate it 90 degrees, and you just like, it was breathtaking to see Addie for the first time. I remember it. So like, yeah, I can't pick another spread other than that, because I just remember seeing her, and she had a new face sculpt and that pink dress, which was really different for American Girl at the time too. You got to remember that like 1993, everything was like basically red, blue, and green. Like that was basically like 99% of what they were made were in those colors. So to like open up a catalog and see this beautiful doll in a pink dress, I just was enamored with her, and I really, really wanted Addie. So I'm gonna have to say the Meet Addie spread for her. Which doll has your favorite books? That's actually a hard one to answer because I don't remember a lot of them, to be honest. I would have to say maybe Molly, just because I remember the most from her, but again, really not a whole lot. When I go in and reread them, I have a hunch that Addie's will probably be my favorite, because every person I know that's read them as an adult say that Addie's are like by far the best books. But, I imagine I'll read them and love them all, because again, just being able to take that trip back, that was really my main experience with the dolls other than the catalog, was being able to read the books and kind of bring them to life that way. So it would probably be hard to pick a favorite, I would have to say, but I'm just going to say Molly because I feel like I have to answer. Favorite American Girl movie? I actually haven't seen any of them. And again, it's just because of my age. I feel like I don't think they started releasing movies until like the late 90s, maybe 2000. I can't remember, but I have a hunch that it will be the Kit movie, just because it looks like it was done with like a way higher budget than the rest of them. But if you want to see me do live reactions to American Girl movies, let me know, because I actually think those might be fun to do. What is your opinion on Courtney and her collection? Overall, I'd have to say I like it, because I just bought Courtney and a decent amount of clothes, and they're on the way. They should be here in a couple days, and I'll unbox them on the channel. I know that I'm a little bit late to the party on that, but I've just been so like, neck deep in Vintage Pleasant Company. But I think I'm really going to enjoy it, and I'm going to try not to be like overly critical, because I know it can be easy to be like, well, we didn't do that in the 80s. Because, again, truth be told, I don't remember wearing a lot of stuff that looked like that. I would agree with people that Courtney's collection is a little bit idealized. It's become almost like a caricature of the 80s, because there's a lot of different stuff. When I think about like what houses look like, for instance, in the 80s, it's like a lot of brown and like pastel blues. So it's funny. I almost feel like the like parts of Kirsten's and Felicity's collections, like especially the furniture, that looks more 80s than Courtney's does. But yeah, I do think I'm going to love Courtney and her collection. I'm going to buy a lot of it, I think. Favorite historical doll? That's a tough one to answer, because it's either Molly or Samantha, and it's going to depend on the day you ask me. And which variation of that doll is your favorite? So for Molly, I'm probably going to say the Dreamer Molly. If you don't know what that is, they basically in 1987 and 1988 had a couple of batches where they made the dolls with smaller irises, and they just have kind of a different look to them, and I really, really love them. So I'd probably have to say Dreamer Molly is probably my favorite Molly. And then Samantha, I'm going to say... Actually, I have my favorite Samantha that ever exists. I'm gonna grab her for you so you can have a look at her. So this right here is actually my favorite Samantha. It's a 1987 Samantha from, I'm gonna guess that the original owner got her probably for Christmas that year, because she has the later version of her teeth for 1987. So even though she's not like the most valuable Samantha in my collection, I really have to say they just did such a beautiful job with the facial sculpts in 1987. They look different than all the other dolls, I feel like. I think in 1988 they started to look a little bit strange. And I don't know, who doesn't love a 1987 Samantha? I mean, oh my gosh, my absolute favorite. This might actually be my favorite doll in my collection, and she is nowhere near the most valuable, but if I could keep only one doll, it's either going to be her or my signed number 230, but man, this doll would be hard to get rid of. I love her. Who is your favorite doll by the character and time period? That's going to be Nikki Hoffman, just because I relate to that doll the most. She's closest in age to me, and she likes alternative rock music, which I loved in the 90s. Honestly, I still love it now. Least favorite historical doll? Ooh, I generally don't like answering questions like this because I feel like it's just like talking trash on dolls that people really love. But if I had to pick, it's either going to be Mary Ellen or Marie Grace. That's controversial, but those are just my two least favorite aesthetically. But truth be told, I probably will get both of them. So it's not even that I don't like them, but if I really, really had to pick one I didn't like, it's probably going to be Marie Grace just because I really don't like her meat outfit. Sorry about it. What is your favorite outfit for each Kirsten, Molly, and Samantha? Okay, this is a fun one. So for Kirsten, it's going to be her winter woolens, the ones that actually, since my dolls are still in their winter outfits, it's this one right here. I love that. It is so well made. They actually hand knit them in the early days, and it's one of the highest quality items that you can get as far as like Pleasant Company outfits goes. I absolutely love that set. For Molly, I think it's going to be her camp outfit just because there's something so like childlike and fun and summery about it. And I really do like doll clothes that are like sweaters and pants and like more like, I don't like saying boy clothes, but you know what I mean? Like things that aren't as like girly and frilly. So I love that Molly had a lot of things like that in her collection. And the camp outfit kind of is a good example of that, like with the shorts and the ball cap and everything. I love that outfit so much. It makes me feel like warm and summery. And for Samantha, I'm gonna have to say her midi outfit. I think that is such a cool looking outfit, and she just looks so good in it. And I don't know, it's like a little bit campy too. I really, really love that outfit. I can't explain it. I always look forward to summer, so I can put Samantha in that thing. I just love it so much. Favorite outfit of the historical line. Again, I guess I have to pick one of those things, obviously. So I'm gonna say Samantha's midi outfit. That's probably my single favorite Pleasant Company outfit. Least favorite outfit of the historical line. Even though I don't really like answering questions like this, because again, this could be somebody's favorite, and I don't like to make people feel bad about the things they love, because that is like the whole reason I was not able to enjoy dolls and stuff. Is all the like people saying like, you can't do that, that's stupid. So even though I really don't like doing that, if I really had to pick something, it's either going to be Marie Grace's meat outfit. I don't know what it is about it. I just really don't like it. Or Kirsten's, I think it's called the Midsummer outfit. It's that one that's like titanium white with like purple polka dots. That to me looks like that outfit, I'm sorry, is like the ugliest effing thing I've seen in my entire life. Favorite non-historical doll. Oh, that's like a tough one to answer too. I'm probably going to say probably the Just Like You number 18, like the second version with the short bangs. Yeah, I feel like that's probably going to be my favorite, unless I'm forgetting something, but it's probably number 18. Least favorite non-historical doll. I actually had to look this up because I don't really focus on things that I don't like. I just sort of don't think about them. But once I looked it up, I kind of had tried to have a look through all of the Girl of the Year dolls and all of that stuff. I think if I had to pick one, it's Kaylee. I don't know anything about that doll. I just looked at her and I was like, I guess her. That's the one I like the least. Favorite non-historical outfit. That would be the fly fishing outfit. I don't remember what year that was released, but it was released for the Girl of Today line, and it is so dorky looking, but I love it so much because I actually grew up on a lake and fished a lot. And again, it's just very nostalgic to me, even though I didn't know about that outfit when I was a kid. Like looking at that kind of brings me back to being on the lake and everything. So I really, really love that outfit. It is so detailed and cool looking. Least favorite outfit from the entire American Girl line. I'm gonna say, again, this is one I had to look up to write down, but I'm gonna say like the Truly Me meat outfits after like the year 2000. I just feel like so many of them, I can tell they were trying to save money on them because the original Girl of Today line, there were so many pieces of their meat outfits. They had like multiple like layers and things, and then especially like nowadays, you just get basically a tunic dress. You don't get a lot with them, and they've tried to, I'm guessing they're trying to battle inflation by, instead of raising their prices, I think they're trying to cut back and do like what they call shrinkflation. So they're trying to make the outfits a little bit cheaper so that they can keep the prices of the dolls down. And as a result, you're just not getting good meat outfits with those dolls because they're not important to their stories or anything. So I'm just going to say, yeah, anything in the last like 20 years as far as meat outfit goes for the like Truly Me meat outfits, that is. What would you like to be re-released? I actually think that it would be really great if they would start re-releasing the table and chairs. I know they take up a lot of warehouse space and they're very, very bulky, but to me, like I said, like those birthday spreads were so intricate and so interesting and beautiful. I really miss seeing that kind of stuff in the line. And that's not to say that American Girl isn't making really detailed stuff. Like Courtney's bed is one of the things I want to get, and that's just as detailed as like the original birthday tables and stuff. But I wish they would reincorporate that back into the historical line, because with the historicals now, like with Claudia, I feel like she is not getting like the amount of pieces that a doll would have, like, 20, 30 years ago. So yeah, I wish they would bring back the original format of having like a birthday collection, a school collection. And again, just those tables were so awesome. I love them so much. And I really wish they would make a birthday table and accessory set for Courtney, and maybe even Isabel and Nikki. But I just think that would be such a cool thing to have, is a birthday set for everybody. What historical doll would you recommend for a new collector? That's really tricky because everybody's got different opinions and different wants and needs for their collections. It's just a really tough thing to pick for somebody. But I would say if you're trying to figure out what you want to get, I would start by maybe looking at the stories, especially if you're somebody that's like really sentimental. A lot of times the story for a doll can really help you connect with it. And I would say that's very true for me with the Hoffman twins, especially Nikki Hoffman. That story really drew me towards that doll, and it makes me like it more, or like her more. So I think that's a really good place to start, is to like read the synopses of all the stories and see what jumps out at you. And if that's really not doing the trick for you, I would just say go based on one that you think you like the look of the most. And I don't know if that's a tricky thing for people to do, but sometimes I feel like you just know, like you line everything up, you look at it and you're like, that's the one I want. So that might be a good way of doing it as well. And if not, like maybe think about like looking at their collections. Like maybe if you like like say for instance, Kit, she has a really great collection, and that's one of the reasons I decided I wanted to get her, is because I think it might be fun to get a few pieces for that and be able to experience them. So if you like the collection for them, that might be a good way of doing it too. And I would have to say, like, if I were going to just blindly choose one for somebody, I was originally going to say Molly, just because she's my favorite, and I feel like nobody hates Molly. But another good one would be Kit, because I think she is widely popular, and especially, I guess that this is for a collector. If I were to buy one for a child, I'd probably buy Kit, just because she's easier to take care of because of her hair. And again, she's just sort of ubiquitously liked. But yeah, I would maybe say Molly, just because she's my favorite of the current ones available. If you were to create either a new historical, contemporary, or Girl of the Year doll, what would they look like? What would be in their collection? And what would be their story? All right, that's kind of an involved one, but I think for me, selfishly, I would like to make one that was maybe a child around the time I was a child. So I would say a historical doll from 1991, maybe 1992. That would be something I would love to see. And then maybe see in her collection. I'm just trying to think. Oh, actually, you know what? I would love to see a boy and a girl best friends. Like, how cool would that be to have like double historicals again? And instead of like twins, they're best friends. So you have like a boy and a girl. I think that would be so much fun. But yeah, just all the stuff that was around then. I would love for them to have like a Nintendo. That would be so cool to have like an NES system. And I don't know, a lot of the stuff I loved as far as toys go, I'm thinking like, things like Beanie Babies and stuff. That's sort of like later 90s stuff, even though I'd love to see like mini Beanie Babies. But yeah, just all the toys that I had or wanted in the late 80s and early 90s, like Barbies, a mini Polly. Like, think about having a mini Polly Pocket. Like, Polly would be like the size of, I don't know, she'd be like a seed basically. So that's probably what I would say. What would she look like, or what would they look like? That's a tough one. I haven't really thought about it, because I feel like they've made like every combination of dolls. But yeah, I just would love it to be really accurate to the time, just nothing that's too like campy and idealistic like Courtney's. I probably should have thought of this a little bit more before actually answering this question. So that's what else? But yeah, like I said, selfishly, I would love to have a little blonde boy with a bowl cut, because I don't know any boy that was a child in the 90s that didn't have a bowl cut. So I would love that. Oh yeah, and things like having a birthday set, maybe like a McDonald's themed birthday party. I think that would be so fun, because I had one of those as a kid. We went to McDonald's and did my birthday, and they had like the cake and everything. I think that would be really cool. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that one a little bit more, but I don't know, what do you think? Would you like to see a video of me like basically doing a complete outline of what I would do for a historical doll from like 1991? I think that might be fun. So let me know if you want to see it. All right, and that's it for the Q&A. If I didn't answer your question, I am so sorry. It's probably because I either like completely spaced and didn't see it, or it was a question that was going to get my channel demonetized. So, but I think I answered just about everything I got. This one was kind of a doozy. If you still want to hear me blabber on about dolls some more, I have some more videos on my channel, so be sure to check them out if you like. Don't forget I'm on Patreon at patreon.com/idreamofjohnny. You can catch me on TikTok and Instagram at idreamofjohnny. And please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you're not already, because I would love to have you back. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I had such a blast talking about myself for almost an hour. Please take care of yourself, and I will see you real soon. Bye for now.